Hi, this is Paul Spica with Spica Real Estate, and you're watching our first time home buyer video series. This video is on underwriting. If you are in the process of purchasing a home, or you're just looking into what it looks like to purchase a home, once you secure a loan and you start going through that process, you will hear the phrase underwriting or the term underwriting a lot. And that's because underwriting plays a very pivotal role in the process of you getting a loan for the property that you want to buy. Once you get to a certain point, your lender will have compiled all of the information necessary on you and all the information necessary on the property. And they send this complete package to underwriting. And this is usually a separate department within the bank or within the lending institution where a member of the lender's team will go through every single page, every single document with a fine-tooth comb, and they want to make sure that everything in the file is correct, accurate, and up to date with you and with the property. As you may or may not know, most lenders don't hold on to the loan. If they lend you $100,000 to purchase a property, they aren't going to be the ones to receive payments over the next 10, 15, 30 years. They will actually sell that loan to somebody else. And that third party is often, it's Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac or some other entities that buy mortgage-backed securities, and getting into more detail than you need, but there's frequently somebody that will buy the loan from the lender who initially originated the loan. The underwriter's job is to make sure that the standards and the requirements that this third-party buyer has for the loan, that your loan meets those standards and those requirements, so that when the closing is done, they can turn around and sell that loan because it conforms to, let's say, Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac standards. Most lenders are not in the business of holding on to loans, so it's very, very important to them that they're able to sell those loans. It becomes important to understand this when you're facing requirements. Requirements from underwriting that might seem odd, unusual, or stringent. Remember that it's not the loan officer, and it's not really even underwriting that is establishing this requirement. It's simply that they are trying to conform with their standard business protocol that they're going to sell this loan. It's kind of the don't shoot the messenger type of thing. Ideally, you're working with a qualified, experienced lender that knows what those requirements and those standards are going to be, and so we can meet those on the front end. And if there is a requirement of, let's say, Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac that you or your property won't meet, a qualified, experienced lender will be able to identify that on the very, very front end. Hopefully, we don't run into any issues midstream. There are lots of compliance issues that underwriters need to be aware of and work through. You'll be asked for lots of information from underwriting, some of which you may have already provided to your lender. It's possible that they need updated information. For example, pay stubs, they need to keep those up to date. Or they might need more specific details about a specific document or a specific situation. Often a letter of explanation is required to say, hey, this looks a little funny, we're not sure if it complies with the standards. Can you write a letter of an explanation that explains why we see this the way we see it? Once the underwriter is done doing what they're doing and they say it looks good, they will send it back out of underwriting, usually with some final conditions. So it might be everything looks good except we need updated pay stubs or a letter of explanation, or sometimes it comes out of underwriting without the appraisal, and so it might be subject to the final appraisal. The sooner we can satisfy these final conditions, the sooner we can get to closing. And so it's important that we are very attentive to underwriting's final requirements. Once the final conditions are met, underwriting has said, yep, we're good to go. Underwriting announces the clear to close, and clear to close are the three best words in the real estate language. That's a fun time when we see the email or the phone call come across saying we are ready to go, everything is cleared, let's get it to the closing department. In our next video, we'll talk about the closing, what it means to have a clear to close, and what that looks like between clear to close and the actual closing. There's a few minor steps that often happen in a very short order that we'll cover in our next video. Again, this is Paul with Spica Real Estate. Thanks for watching.